Hey, beautiful people. So, this video is about what are the 5 things that you get to do so that you can be ready for the best 2025 ever. First things first is I promise you, if you start talking to yourself in a way that aligns to what you want, you will have a totally different new year. So, what I mean by talking about yourself is a lot of times we have negative thoughts and negative words that we use about ourselves. We might describe ourselves as lazy, or we might describe ourselves as, oh, you are so silly and you're so dumb and you're so stupid for doing that. Sometimes we talk to ourselves in a negative way, even if we don't intend on it, because we have had experiences where we haven't gotten the external validation for some of the things that we've done. And so we kind of do this strive for perfection thing. And if we don't meet a specific mark, we start talking about ourselves in a way that isn't benefiting us. So what I desire for you is that you have a different year. And the way that you can do that is have different words about yourself. So for the next 30 days before the new year starts, well, actually 30 days from now, it'll be into the new year, but you know what I mean. In the next 30 days, I want you to start practicing, not waiting until 2025, but practicing now, having thoughts about yourself and words about yourself that you say to yourself about you that are positive. And when you catch yourself saying anything that does not align with what you actually desire to see yourself be talked about, then don't say it. So for instance, if you don't want other people to refer to you as lazy or stupid or silly, then stop referring to yourself as such, unless you're okay with that. If you're not okay with that and you know those type of words are things that are only making you feel worse about yourself and they're not allowing you to be your best self, then I suggest to give yourself new words, new vocabulary that you can say about yourself to yourself. And so I know the words that I just used may seem like they're dramatic or too much, and people may feel like, oh, well, I don't use words that are, that harsh. And that might be true. So be careful about what you are saying about yourself, because you may not realize the things that you are saying, although it may not be harsh, that it may be still something that is slowing you down. And for instance, so I just did a session today, and some of the clients that I worked with in this group session, they said little things like, I think I can do that. So that's not a harsh phrase or word. That's really factual, because that person really thought they could do it. But when I repeated it back to them, like, so you think you can do that? And I just did that so that they can realize what they said, because prior to that, they were very confident about the thing that they were talking about the goal that they were setting. And then somewhere down the line, it said, think. So I was just questioning them by throwing their phrase back to them in an inquisitive fashion so that they could hear what they just said. And then when they said it, they were like, no, I'm going to do X. And I'm like, yes, like that is the energy. And so your words have energy, your words have weight is the whole point of this. So whether they're words you're saying directly about who you are, or they are words that you are using to describe what you're going to do, if you change the way you say things about yourself and the way you say things about what's going on in your world, you will have a better year. So start doing that right now. I promise you, the next 30 days, you will see a difference. 2, if you do this over the next 30 days, you will see a change in what goes on in your life next year. That is, watch what you are listening to and only listen to things that are going to help you have high energy, positive emotions, energizing thoughts. That doesn't mean everything is like, go, 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 let's do it, But maybe you're listening to a podcast that really allows you to think more positively or motivates you in an area that you want to grow in the upcoming year. Maybe it has positive things about the industry or the area that you're most interested in working in this upcoming year. Maybe it's something that's helping you be better at your relationships. Make sure that everything that you listen to, and when I say everything, I mean everything, down to music, podcasts, videos, all of that. And because we live in such a social media space, we tend to listen to videos and podcasts and things like that all day long or throughout the week. And we can do it so much that we are almost in a trance. We don't even realize some of the things that we allow ourselves to hear. And then when you look at your life, it can be a reflection of some of the stuff you hear. Sometimes if we see trash in our life, it's because we're allowing trash in our ears. And so I want you to take the next 30 days, manage what you are actually listening to, and listen to things that are going to be aligned to the person you desire to be and the things that you desire to have. Only listen to those things. The third thing that I would suggest, so this is not an add-on, this is kind of a takeaway, and it's actually a little bit like what we just talked about in terms of what to listen to. The third thing is like get rid of. So start eliminating things that you have been listening to. So you're already going to start listening to things that are awesome. And my hope is that you listening to things that are better for you, that number 2 piece, that it will help you not have as much time for the things that are not beneficial to you. But I also believe it's very important to intentionally eliminate some of the things that you are listening to, because some of us, maybe used to listening to certain things and it's like, oh, it's just entertainment, X, Y, and Z. Well, sometimes the things that we say entertain us can also allow us to not realize until we start trying to do something that subconsciously it bothers us. And so let me say this. So I know I've said, like the things that you listen to, you can subconsciously, I'm sorry, you all. Something got me. So sometimes the thing, I am so sorry. I think it's because I was just talking a lot, but whatever. And I'm not cutting that out because this is a real video. So anyway, I wanted to say that, yeah, sometimes, like I was saying, sometimes we'll listen to things and not realize how it impacts the way we think or some of the things that we do. And so I said that to say the things that you eliminate, I want you to think about like, well, what stuff do I listen to? And what kind of results am I having in that area of life? And so this is the example I wanted to give. So I know people that watch a lot of like these relationship, what is it called? Reality shows or, podcasts about relationship. And so much of it is really negative in energy, in my opinion, when I hear some of the topics from it. And I choose not to listen to it because I'm like, that doesn't help me. I don't want to be in this angry space in the dating world. I don't want to be like angry about what's happening. Like, and it seems very victim-ish to me. Like, I'm not about to be out here acting like, everything is happening to me. I can have the kinds of relationships that I desire. I have fruitful relationships. I always attract great people in my life, whether it's romantic or platonic. So I'm not going to start feeding myself these, things, even though it's looked at as entertainment. Sometimes it can create fear. Sometimes it can make us have an opinion that we didn't have, but it was created because subconsciously we're picking things up from some of the things that we're listening to. And so I'm saying that to say, if you have an area of your life that you don't see growing, think about what you're listening to and eliminate those things. So I already have you adding things to be aligned, but I also want you to also subtract. There is a benefit to subtracting things. So I want you to think about what are some of the things that you need to eliminate so you can have better results. That can be in your finances, that can be in relationships, that can be in your work life, that can be in the business that you want to start, whatever it is that you desire. Look at something that you might be listening to or watching that like it seems like entertainment, and it probably is. I'm not even saying like I don't watch things that are like just for entertainment purposes, but I keep it very, very limited because I recognize that subconsciously we pick up things, and before you know it, you'll be feeling, like you'll have some kind of wall about a thing. So I'm not super like woo-woo about it, but I am conscious of it, and I am more intentional about what I allow myself to watch and all of that for that reason. And so number 3, just pick that up for yourself. All right. Fourth thing is I want you to start reading. So there's a book by Thomas Corley called Rich Habits. Whether you desire to be rich in health, rich in relationships, rich in dollars, wealth in all areas of life, he does stats about, the habits of the rich or the habits of the wealthy. And one of those habits is that they watch less TV and they read more. And so I want to encourage you to pick up some books or some audiobooks that will help you really hone in on one area of your life that you desire to grow in. So I know it may seem like a lot, like, Desiree, you want us to do all this? We reading, we listening to podcasts like I'm back in school. But this is like the school of life because there are so many things that, we get taught that are skills, and we get taught because they're just principles to help you be able to do things in your adult life, like, read, arithmetic. That ages me, right? Arithmetic, math, whatever, all the things. And so, this is, to me, the school of life. I feel like there are so many things that I learned on this side of life in terms of like after college and after high school, what have you, that I'm like, man, I wish people would have taught me. But I guess, life kind of taught me some things. And I ended up doing so much reading, learning about, principles that we don't necessarily get taught. We kind of get caught into life, and then we kind of learn about it. And so that's to say, I want you to figure out an area that you want to grow in. Grab a book, and don't overwhelm yourself by trying to do a whole bunch of books. Just grab a book that you want to read in the next 30 days and like replace that time that you would normally be scrolling. Or if you're not a scroller and you're not like someone that's on social media all the time, but just something that is a time that could be used to help, grow yourself. And I want you to do that. And I guarantee that if you read something in an area that you are intentionally looking to grow in, that you will see different results. So this last one, I'm only doing 5. Well, I might have a bonus actually, so stay on because I think I have an extra one that I want to add. But 5 would be people. Now, people is a hard one, but I guarantee if you start creating boundaries with people that are not aligned to the goals that you have in the upcoming year, you will see a difference in your life. And so this can be touchy, and it can be really hard for some people. And I can honestly do a whole session on this. This is not about being mean. This is not about pushing people out because, they're not on my level. You know what I mean? This is nothing like that. This is about really being intentional about knowing yourself, knowing your energy, and knowing that, hey, when I am in specific environments, or when I'm in specific groups, or when I'm around people that talk about things like this is how it affects me. And if you desire to have a different life and different outcomes, it's really important that you know yourself enough to know what really kind of impedes on your energy, and take control of that by creating boundaries around that. So if so I was using this as an example. Having boundaries around your energy is kind of like having an umbrella, and the umbrella is supposed to keep you from getting wet. And so sometimes people will vent, or people might have negative conversations, and you can have like this invisible umbrella up. But you know how when it's like a tsunami or just a really bad like weather situation, I can't imagine just having an umbrella in a tsunami. I need to be in the house or somewhere, for protection. But you get what I'm saying? Like when it's a really bad storm, that umbrella not gonna do nothing, right? You still gonna get wet, and it's still not gonna be great. You hope that it does something, but at some point you're gonna get drenched, right? And so sometimes we can only keep ourselves from being affected by the conversation of other people, or maybe the drama, or just the problems of others if they're venting to us. We only can protect ourselves from being affected by it for so long. And so I encourage you to create boundaries, especially in areas that it causes you to shift. And you're the only one that can define that. When you've been in an environment too long and it's like, you know what, I probably need to leave because it's starting to affect me, versus sometimes you could be in spaces and it's like, oh, okay, cool. I can chill with this for a little bit. All right, it's time to go. That was great. Because sometimes these are people that we love, we care about. They're our family. Some of them we've been friends with for a long time, but maybe we're just in 2 different spaces, and one is not better than the other. We just get to be bold, to be able to know ourselves well enough to create the boundaries so that we can have a better mental, emotional health. And boundaries are okay. Boundaries are healthy, and it's nothing wrong with them. And I think that a lot of times, sometimes we're stressed out because we're not giving ourselves enough emotional, mental space to be and to be alone with our thoughts in a way that is healthy and that is vibrant, because we allow ourselves to get dumped on a lot of times, and we're consumers of so much information. And so if we can find a way to get some boundaries around people, or environments that are just not healthy for the way that we are. So this is kind of like that eliminate one, right? So eliminate some of the conversations or reduce some of those conversations with people, or just being in the presence of different people or environments that are just not healthy for us. We will see a change. I guarantee you will see a change when you do some healthy keeping of boundaries, not just making the boundaries, but articulating the boundaries and using your voice to make sure that those boundaries are kept in a way that allows you to feel safe and be able to be in control of your life. Like nothing is happening to you. Like it's not happening to you. Like you can decide, like, this is not a conversation I want to continue to be in. So I'm about to roll out. Now, and if you've been on my channel for any amount of time, you know I am team therapist. I am not a therapist. I am executive life and leadership coach. I also, mentor people and all of that. I am not a licensed counselor or therapist, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that if you know that there are areas in your life that, require some deep attention, please seek out professional help. I am not one of those. People feel very therapeutic in my presence, and I say, hey, I'm glad you feel like that, but I think it's more important that you get someone that's a professional. So get a professional that you're concerned about, and that's like my PSA announcement during this video. So please go seek someone. Hopefully there's something that's in your, range and in the time that you can do, so you can get the help you need. So I always like to insert that, when I'm talking about topics like this. So I think that's important. All right. So I said that was it, or that was going to be my last one, but I feel like I have some bonus ones, because I think if you desire to have like your best next year, I think it's really important to make sure that you are being, how can I say this? So I want to make sure that if you desire to have the kind of year that you desire to have, you make sure that everything that you said you want to do is truly what you want to do, and put it in order of priority, and pick one that you are going to go hard in the paint in. And what I mean by that is, honestly, when you have 1,000 goals, it's not happening. It may, but not with integrity, not right away. You'll be flooded, right? And so what I would suggest is, if you want to see change happen next year, definitely have a list, which is fine. Pick one that you're going to go hard in the paint with, and allow that one to help shape how you transform in the next year. And what I mean by that is, if you go hard in the paint with one goal and really master the principles that help you get to that goal and all of that, you will get a whole lot of benefits. And let me give you an example. I got like 3 examples. So one is, I paid off $83,000 in debt. And when I did that, it was one goal. You got one shot. It was one goal that I set. And when I set that goal, I set it knowing that it was going to inform all the other things in my life. So I had a lot of things that came as a result of me setting that one goal, because I had so much focus on that goal. So I read a lot about financial wealth and literacy. I doubled down on creating more opportunities for me to be a consultant so I can earn more income. So I learned more in that space regarding that. And I had a lot more faith and belief in my ability to change something in my life as a result of doing that work. It took me 8 years to do it, and that process needed to happen. So for people that are, looking for that, what is it called? Like that really quick fix, real life, real talk, that happens. It's the exception and not the rule. What's really quick is making a decision and being intentional and being focused on it and getting it done. That's actually quick. 8 years like that. I'm not 8 years old. I'm way more than 8 years old. But the point is that I could have still just been in debt all these decades later, or I could have took that 8 years and got focused. And so that focus accelerated something that could have spanned the extent of my life, so to speak, up to this point. And so if you really want to see really great change, focus on the one thing. My other example is in this last year, I focused on, from a personal perspective, going plant-based vegan. And I've talked about this a couple times on my channel, that I went plant-based vegan. And that allowed me to be healed from high blood pressure. It also helped me get back into the mindset of just being more healthy overall. And so because of that decision, it really was a ripple effect to other decisions that I made for my overall health. And I feel so great in my body, health-wise, more than I've had in a long time. And it was a result of that one focused decision. And then the last thing I'll say is that, well, I guess this is also from my plant-based vegan, but not really. But I quit my full-time job, and I have some videos about that. But that one decision helped me learn about the things that make my business run better. So I feel like a better business person, a better consultant. I'm more aligned with the things that I know matter most to me. And so it's allowed me to make some life choices that are better aligned to who I desire to become and am becoming. And so those decisions, although I only focused on one or two of them at the same time, allowed me to get way more than I expected. And it hit so many other areas of my life. I didn't need 1,000 goals. I just needed one to focus in on. And so I want to encourage you to focus in on the one thing that's going to matter the most. And, I just did a session with a group today. It was a wonderful session. I do it every year in person. And what I loved about it is that we always get to the place where we talk about our next year. And I'm like, hey, this is not the time to have this laundry list. This is the time, let's get zeroed in on the one thing that matters the most. And that's all we doing. And everything else will come as needed. And we just going to put our blinders on to other things. And if we get those things done, it's kind of like icing on the cake, but it is not the priority. And so that is my bonus, that you focus on that one thing and you're going to see change in your life. If this was helpful to you, please share, all the things, comment. I would love to know more of what you would want to hear. Again, I am Desiree Cocroft. I am your Get Your Life coach. I love to help women, high-achieving women, those that are overwhelmed with life, or those that are doing great in life and just overwhelmed with getting to the next place. And you really desire to grow in your business, or you want to grow in your career in a way that you feel like you're living life on your terms, then you are my people. Go to my website, www.desireecocroft.com, and subscribe to my newsletter. I would love to pour into you through my newsletter, and you will be able to know when I have upcoming group courses where you can learn to live life on your terms. Make sure that you earn the abundance in your life economically from an income perspective, and you can make sure that you're being bold in every area of your life, leading your life boldly. That is what Get Your Life is all about. Join my community, desireecocroft.com, and I look forward to seeing you either in my next course or on my next video. Have a great day. Bye.